Okay, so our guest speaker has joined us.
Can you hear me?
We hear you. I
Okay.
don't have your bio, so um,
I'll give you
so
my bio.
so Nicholas is the creator, owner, founder of Way Before the Fame, and he's here to share more information about his career path, why he chose it. So take the floor.
All right. So my name is.
Whoop, whoop, let me press record. Sorry.
All right. So yeah, my name is Nicholas Jimenez. My journey to this path was I was an okay high school student. Like I graduated on time. I didn't do any summer school and stuff like that. And I went to college. I went to college for criminal psychology. I went to John Jay for a year. And then that I just didn't seem like the path I wanted to go on. And then after that, I went to LaGuardia. And then I was always just changing majors. I couldn't really figure out what I wanted to do. Like for me, it was just weird to have a job for the rest of the year, like for the rest of my life. Like I'm just too much of like a free spirit. I just wanted to be creative. So for me, it was weird for me to just honestly think that like I'm just gonna have this job for 25 years or 30 years, 40 years, and then just retire. Like to me, that always just sounded like it didn't make sense to me. So what I did was how I got into starting my own clothing line was I was really big on like reselling like shoes. So if there's anyone here who's into like streetwear and Jordans, I all started by like reselling stuff like this, reselling stuff like this, and after a while, it was just like it's cool to resell like off-white Jordans, Yeezys, and stuff like that. But after a while, I felt like there was no longevity in it. Like there's always going to be someone that's going to undersell you. There's always going to be someone like a StockX that people are just going to go there, and there's no like branding. There's no like you can't really build yourself up. So for me, it was like I want to make my own brand. I want to make my own Supreme. I want to make my own clothing line, and I just want to have my own thing. So like I could be mine. I could be able to grow it. So like for example, I can make like a football like this and it's mine. So you see my brand on it and all about stuff like that. Like even this basketball, I could obviously buy like a Spalding basketball, but I'd rather play with my basketball. So that's why I did stuff like that. It all started about like 5 years ago. I went to my first ever sneaker con or convention ever, and I think I went there with about like $500 worth of merch. I was like, "Oh, this is gonna be great," and I sold literally nothing. Like I didn't make $1. And then I went to another convention like a month later, and once again sold like maybe $20 worth. So immediately, like anyone else, I was very discouraged. I was like, "There's no point for me to continue doing this. Like, what's the point of just doing this just to not even make any money? Not that I'm in it just for the money, but like, you wanna you want that return on investment. Like, I don't want to make 1,000 shirts and sell two in a year. Like for me, like, what do I get out of that? So oddly enough, this is a true story too, guys. So maybe 2 months into my brand, it's way for the fame too. If you want to go on Instagram, um, 2 months into my brand, Drake, like Champagne Poppy, he liked my picture of his shirt. This is a true story. I'm not lying. And then that was like for some odd reason, like the okay, I'm officially solidified. Like if Drake is liking my picture and I had at that point maybe like 100 followers, like I wasn't like a big brand or anything. When that happened, it was like, all right, I can't just quit. So from that day on, um, I just started like continuing to do it, building on it, and it took me to. I started about 5 years ago. It brought me to like Australia, all around the U.S., all for free because it's really just about building yourself. It even brought me to colleges. So I don't know if any of you guys are looking at this, but it took me to Portland University. So I got invited there and I made my own merch. So like here's an example. This was in 2018. I made hockey jerseys for that school. And just stuff like that. So that's basically how it started and it's just continuing to grow up. So like for me, the biggest thing with my brand is I always tell people like half of it is marketing and half of it is the product. Because like I could have the greatest invention ever, but no one's ever heard of it. So something that I've always been really good at since I was younger was just marketing and getting my stuff out there. Like the fact that I had this basketball strategically right here wasn't by accident. Like I wanted you guys to see the fact that I said "Wait for the Fame," and then I have my stickers right here. None of that is by accident. Like I'm purposely wearing a hat today and purposely wearing a shirt today. Um, it's just really about marketing. So like if you're thinking about starting a brand, I would say get into the business side, understand not necessarily like an LLC and all that stuff, but just get into like marketing, like build your social media. It's much easier to sell something when you have 1,000 followers instead of like two. So like don't be discouraged of like dropping something. Oh, I don't want my friend to think, whatever the case may be. Even YouTube, like I wanted to do YouTube like 8 years ago, and that's probably like my biggest regret, not starting it earlier. I wish I had videos of me like going to conventions and me just sitting there for 8 hours making $0. Like that would be, I would love to see stuff like that. Like for me, I love the fact that I could go back and see like highlights of LeBron in high school before he was LeBron. The fact that we could see Curry in Davidson College like before he was like Chef Curry with a shot. Like I love stuff like that. The fact that we could even see like Drake and Degrassi, like yo, look at Drake before he was Drake. Like that's my whole thing. So like that's the reason why I named it Way Before the Fame, because that way you get to just show like I think like this process right now is way before the fame. Like the fact that I'm here talking to you guys, the fact that I'm in my room, not in a huge mansion, all this is way before the fame. So that's my quick little synopsis. I don't know. I want to say more, but does anyone have any questions?
So
Yes, I
how,
what?
so
Yeah,
Anthony says you create shirts?
I create shirts. So if anyone isn't like thinking of starting a brand, you could definitely DM me on Instagram. So what I do is I don't go to like China and do it. I physically do it here in Brooklyn. So that allows me to like learn, because it's one thing like if you're thinking about doing a brand, don't try to like outsource and do a lot of things. Try to do everything yourself. Like for me, I made my own website. I learned how to ship myself. I learned how to screen print. I learned how to do embroidery. Like I did all that stuff. Like if you just go to someone that's going to do everything for you, that way they'll overcharge you and you have no idea really how it works. Like when I was first starting, I was having people do my photo shoots, and I would do a photo shoot, let's say on Monday, and I wouldn't get my pictures till let's say Friday. And I just thought that's how it was. It takes 5 days for the person to send me my pictures. But in reality, when I bought my own camera, I was like, I could just do it myself. I do take the pictures on Monday and I post them on Monday. I don't have to wait for John to send me my pictures 5 days later. Like that way I get to just do everything myself, and that's one thing.
Destiny said, how long does it take for the whole brand process?
Honestly, I say a day. Like to me, it's starting a brand. Let's say a week. Let's say a week and be a little more realistic. Like let's say your brand wanted to be Destiny. To make yourself a brand, in my opinion, it isn't about like the logistics. You don't need a lawyer or anything. You would just buy, let's say, even 6 shirts. Go to a place and find somewhere where they can just print it for you, and then whatever your logo may be, if it's just the word Destiny, if it's a cartoon character you made, that way you would just be able to boom. You have your 6 shirts. You have one for yourself. You give one to your friend to model. You'll make a website for free. If you were thinking about making a website, you can go to bigcartel.com and you could literally make a website for free. You don't need any money, no nothing. And there's your brand right there. You make an Instagram free, Twitter free. It doesn't really take money to start a brand. It's more just about just doing it. Like I have videos on my YouTube channel as well, how to start a brand for $12. And the only $12 is buying the domain, which again isn't necessary, but it is good to have.
So Janae said, do you have a vendor or is it you? Is it just you?
It's just me. I didn't mention this, it's literally just me. Like there isn't a whole team of people thinking of designs. There isn't someone that is like, handling my social media over here. This person is shipping. This person is handling Instagram. It's literally just me. That way you know how to do everything, and that way when someone looking for help, like for you guys, for example, I can't be like, oh yeah, I don't know how to print shirts. Like my guy does that over there. Like that way I'm just like a one-stop shop. I can help people. I can do everything myself, and I'm in control of everything. Also, it's hard to work with people, to be honest.
Kevin, were you going to ask a question? Because I saw you unmuted yourself. Okay, Kaylee says, you doing brand ambassadors?
Sure. I'll send you guys a shirt.
Noelia says, how long did it take you to realize that this is what you wanted to do?
Honestly, a long time. And I don't still feel like this is what I want to do. Like this is something I'm currently doing, but I don't like. To me, it's like, what do I want to? To me, what I want to do is create, make something new all the time, work on new stuff. Like right now, I'm currently doing this, and this has nothing to do with clothes. So like, I made a skateboard because I feel like it's getting summer, even though the Rona's out. I spray painted my own skateboard, and that's just something I just wanted to do it. Like for me, it isn't really like my end all. Like I don't know if I'm going to be doing my brand 5 years from now. I know I'm going to be creating something, whether it's YouTube or like a commercials or something, or just helping other people out. I don't know if I'm going to actually be doing like I don't know if I'm ever going to have my own like store, like like a H&M or Forever 21, because I just don't know. I don't know. I can't plan that far ahead, TBH.
Emmanuel says, do you make your own sneakers?
No, I wish though. I need Travis Scott and Jordan to like cut me a check. I'll make these a little different, but I wish.
Abby says, if you didn't become an entrepreneur, what career would you choose?
I always said if money wasn't a thing, I would be an ice cream truck driver. Just because I feel like that's one of those jobs where you get to do whatever you want. I'm by myself. I don't have an immediate boss like looking over me. I get to drive and chill, and I feel like everyone that goes to see you is really happy. That would be my job, honestly. But I wouldn't make enough money, and like I want to have like 7 Lamborghinis and 40 mansions. So unfortunately, I can't do that.
Kaylee said, hit me up, Ambassador Gang. Destiny said, ooh, I want that. Kevin said, was there another passion before this?
Um, I had 70 passions. I think that's like the road to be an entrepreneur. When I was younger, I wanted to, what did I want? I wanted to do so many things. I don't know about it in order, but at one point I wanted to be a drift car driver. Like I bought a Miata, if anyone knows what that is. And I was honestly learning how to drift, but then I ran out of money. Um, and then what else I wanted to do? I thought I was going to go to the NBA. I thought I was going to go to the NFL. Like I had so many paths. This is one of the things that I've honestly stuck for a while. And I think it's because it allows me to like do whatever I want. Like there isn't like I don't have an overhead. There's no one that tells me like, oh, you can't make like I can't make this. Like I can make this out if I want. Like there's no one to tell me no. There's no one to tell me that I can't make this football. Like I can make it. There's no one like I can do whatever I want. Even if I make it and no one buys it, like that's not my goal. Like I don't care if I make this basketball and no one likes it. Like for me, I know that I'm gonna be playing with that basketball and I'm gonna be happy. So like I don't think so.
Caroline said, I love the skateboard. Kaylee said, how risky is it to start off a business? Do you profit more than the expenses?
No. I think at this point, it's one of those, it's definitely very risky, but it's one of those things where I've been doing it for almost 5 years now. And I'd say, I don't still think that, I mean, I might be profiting at this point, but let's say like I drop a collection and it costs $500 to make it and I make 700. I'm not going to take that $200 and go like buy something for myself. You know what I mean? I would take that $200 profit and put it back to the brand. So I may be profiting, but I'm not really, I haven't done anything. Like I still drive a BS car. I still live home. Like I'm very frugal with the things that I do. So it is profitable and is risky, but encouraging thing is that for maybe the first year when I started my own brand, I wasn't making any money at conventions. But at this point, like in today's world, I'm going for free. Like I went to Australia for free. I went to Berlin for free. I went to London for free. I went to like San Francisco, Atlanta, Chicago, Florida, anything you can think of, I went for free. And what I mean by going for free is that, let's say my plane ticket and table cost was like $1,000. I would go there and I would make way over $1,000. So I would make, let's say, 2,000. So boom, my expenses for my trip are paid and I'm in Australia. So like, it's risky, but it's one of those things where you gotta risk it to get the biscuit. Like scared money doesn't make any money. So if you're thinking about doing it, do it. I don't see how you could lose, especially at this age. I wish I started sooner in TV.
Gustavo says, are there certain skills that you need to become an entrepreneur?
I would say there's no skill that you couldn't learn, because in like school and life you don't learn how to be a businessman. Like you don't learn to, like, every time you see someone you got to shake their hand. You don't learn customer service. You don't learn that someone emailing me like, hey, like that's not a skill of like, hey, I didn't like this shirt that I have, so can I get a refund? You don't learn, like, it's just things that anything you can learn. I say the only thing that I would focus on is the marketing point and like the business side of it, because I can be the greatest artist ever, and if I don't know how to like use social media and I take like bad pictures and I don't promote it the right way, it's like, what's the point of even doing it?
Kaylee says, is schooling for entrepreneurship necessary to start and run and maintain your own business?
I would definitely say some type of schooling. I've always had an entrepreneur mindset since I was like 10 years old. Like I got my first job packing bags in a supermarket when I was like 10, honestly. And then from there, I thought I started a little business in my garage, like selling like candy and hot dogs and like little things. I was always just like on my days off, I would always like do car washes around my neighborhood just to make extra money. When it snowed, I was always the first person outside, like walking like in a 20-block radius just so I can get people to like let me shovel their snow. So I would say schooling is necessary. If I were to take a major, I guess it would be like finance or something in that department, like a business management thing, because I don't want to get like, I'm lucky to be able to do everything myself, but there's obviously some people who aren't like the most business savvy. So you want to make sure your accountant or whoever's handling your money isn't ripping you off. So you want to have that side at least, like get that side figured out.
Destiny says, what is your idea of a final goal for your business?
Um, I think a final goal for my business would be, damn, that's a good question. I don't know. I think when you're an entrepreneur, there is no final goal. Like it could, like today, Beyonce and Jay-Z could call me and be like, hey, I want to model for you. And like, that'd be great. But like, would I be like, all right, boom, I got the two biggest people like to model for me. I don't think there, it really is an end goal. If I had to pick one, I guess, I don't even know. I really don't know. I guess like having my own store, but I don't really want my own store. I don't care if I made $1 million today, it wouldn't stop me. There's always like there's always a step higher I feel I can go. And that's like one of the flaws of being an entrepreneur, because you're never satisfied. Like when Drake liked my picture, I was happy, but like life goes on. Like what am I supposed to do? Just never like work again? Like when I went to Australia, that was always one of my goals. Like, wow, I went all the way to Australia with my brand and I sold out of merch. But like, does that mean that's it? Like, cool, I went to Australia, now I could sit back, because that way you get complacent and then you'll never like level up. So it's just consistently leveling up, leveling up, leveling up.
Kaylee says, I went on your website and noticed that a lot of your merchandise are name brand with logos of Nike and the Yankees. Are you customizing service or is your merchandise copyrighted?
It isn't copyrighted. This is, I don't know if I should say this, but
So post-production Nicholas here, right? And before you hear this answer, I was watching back the footage because I'm about to post it. And what I meant to say, honestly, what I said is what I said. But what I mean is, yes, it is technically illegal to, print the Way Before the Fame, WBTF over the Nike logo, to put the WBTF over the Mets and Yankees hats. It is technically illegal. I am not supposed to do that. And technically they can send me a cease and desist and lawyers can get involved and all that stuff. But what I was really getting at is that at the level I'm at, that's not going to happen. It's like jaywalking. That's what I really should have said. It's illegal to jaywalk. You're not supposed to jaywalk. You will get in trouble for that. You could get a ticket, but it's like, do you really care that I'm jaywalking? No. I'm not even like in the stratosphere of Nike and Mets and the Yankees. Like, they don't care about me at all. So it's one of those things where you just like, just do it. Like, who cares? Don't let people tell you, like, always see videos of stuff like that and it really pisses me off. That's why I kind of went in on this part, because it's like, no, Nike's not going to sue you. If you're home right now and you're embroidering a Nike thing on a regular Hanes sweater you have, people be like, oh, that better be just for personal use. You better not sell that. You're going to get sued. No, you're not. The only way you would get sued is if you're making like millions or hundreds of thousands of dollars, and then Nike would be like, hold up, we want some of this money. You got to stop that ASAP. But I'm not doing that. So that's what I meant. So get back to the clip.
When you're at the level I'm at, you can't get sued. Like, Nike is not going to sue me. Like, this hat right here, like, the Yankees are not going to go to my door and be like, hey, you can't sell this, because who am I? I'm not rich. They're not going to waste money on lawyers. They're not going to, like, what are they going to take from me? Like, I'm not. So it isn't copyrighted. It's one of those things where you just do it. Like, you just, what is the worst that can happen? Nothing is going to happen.
And it says, like, do you have permission from those companies to put your own logo aside theirs and resell it?
No, you don't. You don't need permission, though. You need permission if I was making like $1 million. That's like one of the biggest misconceptions that is actually like annoying, that people think that, not you, but like people think that like you need permission. Like, the only way that I would get in trouble is if like I made this Nike shirt right here, and if I was making, let's say, $1 million, Nike would be like, hold on, this guy's making $1 million. I want a piece of that. But I'm nowhere in that stratosphere of making that much money, so Nike doesn't care. Like, Nike has no idea that I even exist.
I have a question. Have you ever had a company or someone tell you that you need to stop selling their merchandise? Have you ever received a cease and desist order?
I have received a cease and desist before. That's why I'm so educated on this. Because a cease and desist, even if Nike was to call me, they would send me a cease and desist, and then I would then have to stop. But I can't just be like, you're sued, you got to give us $1 million. It doesn't work that way. So I have received a cease and desist before, but that was a whole like bogus claim, and I knew they weren't going to sue me because, again, there's nothing, you can't get anything. I'm not rich. I don't own a house. Like, you know what I mean? There's nothing you're going to get from me. So it was more just like a satirical tactic to get me scared, and it didn't really work. Because clearly I'm still out here thriving.
Ashley, you got a question? Alfredo says, is it ever too late to start a business?
No, I started my business at like 23, and I'm 28 now. And if I started sooner, I'd probably be bigger. But I feel like you can start a business at 50. It really just depends. Like, I don't know. It's never too late. You can start whenever.
And then Alfredo also says, if any, what are some of the struggles you had coming up?
Just mistakes. I didn't go to fashion school. I didn't, I wasn't like the big fashion dude in high school. Like, yeah, I wore stuff and like got fly, but like I wasn't like, I didn't care about like fabrics of shirts or screen printing and embroidery and all that stuff. So my biggest struggles was not knowing. Like, my mistakes were my biggest teachers because I had no idea what I was doing. I didn't know that, you couldn't do this on a black shirt. I didn't know that these cheap shirts are bad. Like, the biggest thing I would say was just the mistakes, like learning that I ordered 100 of these shirts, but the quality is terrible, and I didn't know that. So then that's a whole thing. I started my brand, honestly, with like $5,000, and that went away very quickly. And that honestly was a lot, because if I knew what I knew now, I could do it, like I said, for like 300 max.
Kaylee says, how does shipping and handling work? How do you package your orders?
I do everything myself, so I'll get up really quick. Well, actually, no. I basically use something like this. So, like, if I was to sell you, like, this sweater, I would just take this, fold it, put it in a nice bag like this, put the size sticker right here, and then I would, it's my scale here. Oh, I use one of these printers. So I print the label in my house, I just weigh it, and then I just go to the post office. I don't wait online, and I just drop it off. It's the easiest thing ever.
And then last couple of questions. I'm saving up to start my own business. What are some tips or advice you would give to a beginner like me?
I don't know your business, but if it's clothes, I would say watch a lot of videos. Like, watch a lot of YouTube videos. Oh, is it photography? Do shoots for free. Don't be that person that is that wants to do shoots for paid shoots. Like, when I was first starting, I was selling my shirts for like $15, and it cost me like 16 to make them. Like, I wasn't in it for the money. Like, for me, would you rather have like 10 people wear a $10 shirt or 1,000 people wear a $1 shirt? Like, I always feel like you need to just get out there. Like, keep taking pictures. Go hit your friends up. Yo, you want to do a photo shoot today? Post it on Instagram. Keep posting it. Because eventually people are going to hit you up and be like, yo, what's up? Like, you can do a photo shoot with me. My website is waitforthefame.com. I saw somebody ask that question, but you can just keep doing photo shoots, keep doing them. Hit your friends up, take photos of people, take photos of the outside. I don't know what your goal is, but just keep doing it. Like, you don't have to get an expensive camera either. Like, my camera, even at this level, I think it's like $500. And most of the time, I honestly use a GoPro, which is $300.
Does anybody have any last questions before we let Nicholas go?
I like these questions. Damn.
Kaylee, you really going hard for this, but I appreciate your hustle.
What does it say? I can't read it. Would you put
Would you put ambassador applications?
Nah, my thing, honestly, when it comes to ambassadors, is I feel like, not even to flex, I don't need ambassadors. So, like, I don't need to give away free clothes. Like, I don't give celebrities free clothes. Like, I'm not the guy. Like, for me, I'd rather give you guys a free shirt than send a shirt to, like, someone on social media influencer and them not wear it. Like, I'd rather, like, a rather regular person wear a shirt, and I just, like, them do it and they get to wear it and they'd be cool. Like, I give my friends free merch way before I will give a free shirt to, like, Jay-Z, because I know he's never going to wear it. I did that in the beginning. Like, I used to email a lot of people and be like, oh, like, would you wear my shirt? And a lot of them didn't write back. And then eventually it was just like, I don't need them. And also, like, another big tip is that if I do send a shirt to, like, let's say, like, Playboy Cardi or something, the only people that are going to wear it are Playboy Cardi fans. So, like, they don't even like my brand. They just like the fact that he's wearing it. I want people who genuinely are invested in the brand. Like, I don't have the biggest like, fan base ever, but the people who do follow me consistently are buying, like, every day. Like, I drop a new collection March 3rd, like, every 13th of the month, and there's always, like, the same names over and over and over. And to me, that's way better than people just buying it because their favorite celebrity just wore it. Like, I don't care for you.
Any last questions in the last 30 seconds that we have? And I think maybe we could do a way before the fame giveaway for our last class next week.
Yeah, we should. I'll give away things for free. I always give away things for free.
For people who did their final project.
Yeah, and in this collection, I gave away free, I don't have it, but I'll give away free hand sanitizer. But that's another, like, marketing thing.
Okay, so thank you.
Thank you guys.
And yeah, thank you for your time. Bye.
Peace.
So what did you guys think? Let's hear some feedback. He was chill. What does that mean? I liked it. I love it. You guys are hilarious. He's actually my younger brother. Yes.
He is?
Yes.
Oh, I'm not going to talk shit then. Hold on.
Ooh, no, I want to hear it.
No. I mean, yeah, he seems really interested in his brand. I like that he's, like, really confident about it.
All of y'all want hoodies. That's hilarious. Yeah, so we'll definitely do some giveaways for our final party. Our final class. Any other feedback about the speakers besides getting a free stuff? He seems cool, but what about the person's career path? Because I know some of you talked about you wanted to see an entrepreneur. So, like, did that make you think that you might want to pursue starting your own business? Maybe not. Very informative and relatable. He seemed very confident and presentable. He has a good creative eye. I like his stuff. I like how he set his goals, but also just goes with the flow. How come you're not trying to talk? He's gonna do some big things. Okay. I liked his career, but I do think it's kind of risky because sometimes it can get comfortable and get lazy. That's the thing when you work for yourself. you don't have anybody checking on you, right? You don't have anybody telling you, like, make sure you get to school, make sure you get up on time, make sure you do this. So if you don't put in the work, you're not going to see the work. That's the reality. You get what you put into it. So you may be working 20 hours a day. How quarantine has changed his business? That's a good question.
So that is a good question. My answer would be that seeing how I do drops once a month, it's a little harder to gauge because it isn't something that like I get a daily answer or a weekly answer. I usually see like, okay, the first week is obviously the strongest because that's when the collection drops, but I can only gauge it when it's over. So my last collection did very well. This one is doing okay to start, but we don't know if it's going to get a high peak, you know, next week or whatever the case may be. So yes, I think it definitely has affected me, but I wouldn't say online. I think more now than ever people are shopping online because all the malls and everything are closed. So I think online clothing, period, not just me, is doing much better right now. But I definitely think it affected me planning wise. Like, there's a lot of things I wanted to do this summer that I don't think I'm going to be able to do. Like, sneaker cons obviously are canceled. Pop-up shops I wanted to do, like, I wanted to do pop-up shops in, like, Brooklyn, Queens, Soho, all summer. I wanted to do, like, my own standalone pop-up shop, like, that big plans for that. This is another example. I had this basketball. I wanted to drop that this month. That's why this collection is like and it was like I didn't know what to do. I just reworked merch, but I do have more pieces coming. But I want to drop this for this month. Like I have medals and everything, but if you live in New York, they took away all her rims, so like you can't even go to the park and play basketball even if you wanted to. So this had to get pushed to the side. I had other projects that had to get pushed to the side. And then, like, even if I did want to do a pop-up in, like, August, for example, let's say all the businesses are open, I don't know if people are going to be as quick to go to a pop-up. Like, no, it's not going to be super crowded where you can't walk inside. But still, it's going to be one of those things where, like, do I really want to go? Like, do I really want to go to that pop-up right now? Like, COVID is here. So we're just going to have to play the waiting game because I still do want to do the pop-ups. Maybe people are going to be so happy to get outside that everyone's going to be packed. Basically, long story short, I do think it's affected my business, but more when it comes to like planning and doing things face to face. Like I miss going to SneakerCon and like being like, oh wow, I never heard of this brand and I'm in freaking Australia or something. You know what I mean? So in that part, it definitely has affected my business. But yeah, thank you for watching the video. Shout out to University High School in the Bronx. If any of you guys are watching this video for some odd reason, comment below so I can send you your care package. And I'm out. Peace.